Well, greetings YouTube. This is going to be a demonstration on how to swap the ejection port cover from an AR15 or M4, either one. And I hope it works out. Now, I went on YouTube and I think I found two, and while they're pretty good videos, and I mean very good actually, I decided to go ahead and make one of my own, just because as you probably know by now, that sometimes you gotta look at multiple videos of how to do things, and maybe one resonates more than the other with you. So here we go. Forgive my hands. I'm not a model. If you're looking for nice fingernails and beautiful hands, then you should be watching a makeup video. So what I've done is I'm going to replace this standard ejection port cover with one of the ever popular personalized ones. This one is a "Don't Tread on Me," but by now these are pretty common, so you know that you can get these all over the place. I don't even remember where I got this. The hell did I get it? It's right on the tip of my tongue, but it doesn't matter. They're all over the internet. Go on eBay and find them. They've got a multitude of different sayings. You know what they are, or you wouldn't be watching this video. You want to definitely take something white. Now, this is just basically a white towel that's in my lap, and the reason is because there's a little like a ring back here, a little half ring that is black and very, very small. And of course, I'm in my basement and I have black floors down here, so I probably never find it again if I dropped it. So trust me, it fell out of my my needle nose pliers probably 6-7 times, and thank God I had this white towel so that it was easy for me to recover. So you want to do that, and then the other thing you want to do is now I also want to just give a caveat that I understand that the proper way, from what I hear on some of the comments on the other videos, is to remove the barrel of the weapon. But there's a right way, and then there's the way that you and I do it. So for those that get all bent out of shape and say, hey, you're teaching people to do it the wrong way, I politely say kiss my ass. If you can avoid doing extra work and still end up with the same outcome, then that's what you want to do. And if you want to do it the right way, then go find another video. So the first thing that I do, and again, this is all my style, so do what you're going to do, but I go ahead and tape off the area. I just use electrical tape so that I can do my best to not, to avoid marring the weapon. Now, when you pull this ejection port cover off, you're going to be going toward your forward assist here. And this is where you're probably going to scratch it as you're sliding it out, because you got to bend it just a little bit to get past there. That'll make sense in a second. Off of. The other areas I like to try to protect are right here, where I'm going to be fumbling around with my needle nose pliers. It's a freaking weapon, so if you're not like all bent out of shape and concerned about little mars and scratches, then don't worry about this. Some people, it drives them crazy. I'm not going to commit suicide if I scratch my weapon, but if I can avoid it, I'm just going to go ahead and try to avoid it. Okay, so the side that my little pointer stick is on, that's the barrel side, and then back here is going toward the forward assist. So this is the front of the weapon, that's going toward the rear of the weapon, the stock. So where we're going to focus on is right here. There, and I don't know if you can, well, I just caught a little glimpse. You may, if you have bad eyesight like me, you might have to get a magnifying glass and take a good look. Right there, that little shiny thing right there, that's like a little metal ring, but it's like a half moon almost. A little more than a half moon, like a little clamp. And it just pops right on there, and it pops right off, and it sounds easy, doesn't it? Trust me, it's not. That's the source of your stress right there. So you're going to want to take needle nose pliers. I want to show you in a second. You got to make sure that you rotate it so that it's like a horseshoe, and you want the closed end of the horseshoe to be facing you, because it's going to pull out through the open end, if that makes sense. The open end of the horseshoe should be toward the weapon, like where you can't see it. And then when you put it back on, you're going to push it back on right to where it is. It's very, very hard and difficult to grab You're probably going to mar this area a little bit, not a big deal. And if it starts to roll around on you, you can use a little teeny tool, a screwdriver, your thumbnail if you have one, and just make sure you roll it around. Otherwise, if the opening is to the right or left and you're pulling straight up, it's going to be a futile attempt because you're not going to be able to release it. You know, it won't be able to release from the rod that it's clamped around. I think you get what I'm saying. So what I do is I use a little screwdriver like this right here. It's really weird doing this with the camera because my moves are totally reversed. And I basically come in here like that and I rotate it around and orient it right and then try to pull it out. So let's get to work. On the first time I tried these little needle nose pliers because I thought, yeah, that looks good. Not good enough. What turned out to work really good was my SOG, Special Operations Group, multi-tool. I mean, it's just the perfect freaking size. So if you got a Gerber or some kind of a multi-tool, I think they're just the perfect size to get down into the areas that we're going to be working on. Having a magnifying glass, if you're over, you know, I'll be 50 years old next month, so my eyesight's not what it should be, and this really helps out. This one's even got a little light, you know, so that's kind of cool, and that helps me really determine the orientation of a little doohickey. Now you know, if you stick your, this is hard to convey on video, but you remember that I wanted you to move the little clamp away toward the front of the barrel. I want you to move it away from this so that you have room to grab it. Yeah? So take your fingernail, and I don't have long ones, but I have enough to hook behind the clamp, the little ring, and then just slide it out. And what that does is that gives me precisely enough room to grab it with my needle nose pliers, and that's what I'm going to do. Yeah, and this thing rotated around again, just like I had said. This is a problem, man. If somebody's got a good idea to keep it from rotating, sound off. Because this is exactly the fight I had with the last one. You see the potential to mar this weapon here because you're putting metal on metal. And you know, you're forcing stuff. Come on, you little. Come on, you little SO biscuit. You know what I thought? I think what I did last time might have been, yeah. I'm gonna put this flat tip underneath it. It's very small. See if I can't just lift it up that way. Now you don't want to break this thing, but it's certainly conceivable that that could happen. As I said that, oh, okay, that's weird. Okay, it's off now. But you see how precarious this whole situation is? Now this is a magnetized screwdriver. Look at the size of this thing. I don't really want to shake it off and lose it. Let me see if I can do this. See it shaking around there? And it fell off. Now, you see, that's why you want to have the white towel, because look where it is over here. Right there. So, what did I do? I just completely went against the way that I said I was going to do it in the beginning of the video. And that's the nature of this kind of crap, man. You know, I was going in to pull it off with these, and I ended up just kind of prying it out with this. So, there you go. Now, don't drop that sucker, or you're probably never going to find it again. Anyways, enough about that. So, now I got this taped off over here. And I'm going to stick my thumb back here and start to push this rod out. Now, I want you to pay very close attention to the orientation of the spring. You should take a good look at that before you pull this off. And keep your finger on the spring so it doesn't go flying. It's black too in this weapon. So, just for those of you that have never worked with springs before, you're going to see one little end of the spring that, God, a phone call in the middle of my video. Alright, sorry about that. Now, where was I? So you see the little, there's, on the springs, there's a long, on one end there's a longer piece than there is a short piece that's hanging off the end. The short piece is what you're looking at. That's how that thing's got to be oriented when you put the new ejection port cover in there. So just something to think about. We're going to get covered in a little bit more detail in a second. So you push this thing to give it a head start. You reach over here and grab it and start pulling it out. And it's on top of the tape, so I'm not scratching anything. And it's going to kind of glance off this ejection port cover here and go away from me. Right? I got my thumb on the spring. You know, if it gets a little hard and, you know, I don't know, if you can't manage it, you could probably use some needle nose pliers or something. I'm going to try not to. Just from pride alone. I mean, there's no reason not to. Okay, so that is definitely a lot harder than the last one that I did. And I changed my mind. See, it's nice to be flexible. I am going to take my needle nose pliers and just give it a little bit of a pull. Not much. Don't want to bend this thing if you can help it. Now this one is really not behaving, so I'm clearly going to have to file a complaint. Figures that they always go smooth when you're not making a video. That's just Murphy. That will be edited, trust me. You'll never know that happened. Okay. So hopefully I've edited out all of the cussing I did. And, you know, quite frankly, I'm a man of full disclosure. I have, because this one was very hard to get out and my other one was very easy, I just slid it out with my fingers. I had to use my my needle nose pliers, and I've left an impression on the end of the rod from the pliers. Is that critical? Not at all. Is it going to affect the function of the weapon? No. Does it piss me off? Hell yeah. Somewhere there will be a dog kicked within an hour. Just kidding. I love dogs. Okay, see the spring? It wants to fly out right now. Okay, it wants to fly out, but I'm not going to let it. So I've got my thumb on it. Look at it popping up. And this is probably a good opportunity if you can see it. And I won't know till I look at the video how clear it is. See this right here? That's the long end of the spring. Now, when you put your new cover, cover on, you want to, I should have, in a way I wish I had the silver spring. My last weapon I did a little while ago had the silver spring. And it was a lot easier to see in contrast to the black here. But this is the long piece right here, and that is the short piece down here. That's how you want to orient the spring, or you're going to go back and forth trying to figure out why your ejection port cover doesn't spring open when you work the come on, man, the action. So off comes the spring, and there it is, a little black spring. Yeah, definitely the silver is a lot easier. Okay, so now we're gonna push this thing the rest of the way off. You know, nothing easy about this one. This is really different than the last weapon I used, or the last cover that I replaced. This is totally a different ball game. So, you know, no two weapons are alike. Tearing up the metal, not on the gun but on the rod. So, you know, pisses me off. This is like a totally different situation, but it's good that I'm having this problem because some of you are going to end up having the same problem. And then those guys that say, well, you should have taken the barrel off, are going to be laughing, and you know, screw them, man. We're going to be the guys with the cool looking guns with plier marks on our frickin' rod here. So, what do you think about that? Alright, it's very hard on me too because I got a really bad shoulder, and every time I pull on this thing it's making me wish I wasn't. Okay, now normally I don't take the thing all the way out. Look at the damage I've done to the rod. I mean, it's just awesome. Okay, all the teeth marks on it and everything. That shouldn't happen, you know. I'm gonna put a little dab of oil on it. Maybe it'll go in a lot easier. That's weird. But I normally just take it up to about this level right here. And you can see the damage I've done to the tape here. It completely tore the tape right down here, if you can see that. So that would have been paint, or not paint, but it would have been the coating on my weapon being marred and scratched. So I got this thing off. I'm gonna put some oil on my rod. Oh yeah, he just said that. It's not like this is the most expensive part of the weapon, so if you screw it up, you know, everybody will laugh at you, but that'll be about it. Okay, here comes the fun part. All right, so I got my new one here. When it opens, this is the way it's going to be situated, right? You guys with me on that? I'm not really facing the camera, so hopefully you're seeing this. All right, so I'm going to stick the rod back into the right side hole. This rod seems a lot longer than my last weapon, and you know, maybe that's what was going on here. Maybe that's why. I mean, look at that. That's I'm having a hell of a time just getting it back in. So definitely, this is not a simple task on this weapon. If I'd have made the video on the last one, you would have been amazed at how easy it was. Hence, that's why I'm making a video. I thought, hey, I'll show them how easy it is, and now look at me. I'm in a world of shit, and I ain't got any toilet paper. Just made that up. Okay, so now comes, in this case, it's a very hard task of pushing the rod back in. It shouldn't be this hard for you. I don't have a good reason as to why this weapon is giving me a hard time, but you know, that's the nature of the beast, man. They're all different. Now, I could probably use a punch or something like that, but you know, I'm one of these guys that's I'm an instant gratification guy. I want things done now. I want them done now. You want to go in. Now I got to be careful that I don't go too far, and then I won't be able to install the spring. And that's that actually, the installation of the spring is kind of a pain in the ass if you don't know what you're doing. And then the installation of that first clip we took off, that was the hard part of my last one. Okay, so this thing's sliding along. You know, it's not being real friendly about it, but you know, it's coming along. Situation here. So now I'm stuck, and my weapon will be like this for the rest of eternity. Not really. I never give up. You never let a weapon beat you. Gotta show it who's boss. There we go. So I grabbed the needle nose pliers to start sliding right in. No, very, very easy. So now I'm getting to the point that's, you know, it's a little bit problematic. Let's get through it together. Come on, give me a hug. Just kidding. Here's what you do. You hook this short end on the inside of this lip, bent down and under, and then when that happens, you take the long end of the spring, that right there, and you bend it under itself, and so that it ends up right here in this crevice. In this case, it's right next to the right of on. Don't tread on me. All right. I don't think that is going to make a lot of sense now, but believe me, when you're knee deep in gun oil and you've been cussing and screaming because of this other shit, you're going to fully understand what I'm talking about. Now, the way I do it is I bend the spring under, I line it up with the hole, and I just push the rod in enough. I know that's not going to be that easy on this gun, but enough to hook into the spring so that it's holding the spring in. And once again, on this case, I got to go with my pliers and screw up the rod more. It's really weird. Okay. So, oops, I shoved, you know, it's either all or nothing. That's how it works, man. It's awesome. It's so fun to do this. Oh, I love it. That's called reverse psychology, so that you don't get mad. If you notice, everybody in the house is away from me. They're all taking shelter in other rooms because they know that when I do shit like this, it can get ugly. Okay, so that goes like that. Let me see something here. So I want to put this like that. Okay, just like that, so it's okay. Hold on. I know you don't know what I'm talking about, but you will. Roll that over. Get in there, dude. Nice, springy. Oh, I love you. Okay, here's the right way, I think. And if it's the wrong way, I'm still the kind of guy, I'm going to show you it's the wrong way because I love to wallow in my own stupidity. Yes. Come on now. Let me get this rod in here so I can show you what I did. Okay. Now. Oh, you little bastard. Now, here's what I did. This is the way it should look. It's important that you understand this. The little short end of the spring is right there. You can see it clearly. The first time I put it on there, we couldn't see it. That was my clue. Remember, I even said you can't see it. Well, that should have been my red flag, but I'm too new at this. The long end, I had to bend it over the hump right about here, all the way over there, and then whoop, it fell into place right there. And I can already tell that there's spring tension behind it. So I'm a winner. Now, I push this thing in, line up the holes, the rod goes all the way in. Oh, wow, look at that, look at that. Oh my God, oh, he did it, he did it. Oh, listen to the sound. It's an ejection port cover that works so fine. I like it so much because it's all mine. Yeah, I know, I need mental help, but isn't that awesome? Well, guess what? Now the fucking hard part begins. That's right. Here comes the hard part. Brace yourself. Now the easy part. You know what I mean? Everything's backwards when you're trying to make a video. Okay, so here comes the dreaded little microscopic doohickey frickin' half horseshoe thing from hell, man. Just take a good look at that. Let's get a good look at that. How do I do that? Let's see. Look at that. Okay, are you taking a look at that thing right there? Let's go through this a little bit. When you start the removal process, this opening right here should be facing away from you so that you can pull the horseshoe clip up in this direction, straight up. Now that's how I did it on the first one. Now consequently, or subsequently, not consequently, I ended up using a different technique on this one. So now you have options. Isn't that cool? In this case, I put the little screwdriver end. Where are you? This nice little screwdriver tip. I put it on the, I dug it in between. You son of a bitch. And I slid it there, and I kind of just lifted up a little bit, and it popped off. It's probably better to do it with needle nose pliers. That's how I'm going to reattach it. So let's back off the camera. Okay, and I doubt that you're going to be able to see this. I mean, look at the sizes that we're dealing with here. This is very much like my sex life. The sizes that I'm dealing with are so small that they're almost not worth it. Just kidding. Okay, here we go. Okay, so I want to grab this thing, and I want to literally, where are you? Like that. I don't want the tip of the needle nose pliers to go into the well of the horseshoe, or that's going to impede me as I push it onto the rod. Okay? Does that make sense? So I got this thing all the way on, and man, that does look like, thank God that gets covered up because I really marred the crap out of that rod. But as far as I'm concerned, that just gives it character. Now there is a little bit of a there's a cutout around the rod here, like an indentation that this thing hooks into. So you want to line that up, push it on. I'm holding it down with my fingernail, and now I'm just gonna hopefully, now if this thing's on there right, it'll be a miracle. The first time I did it, I'm going to tell you this so that in case you have the same problem, it would go on, and then when I would test this thing, it would come off again, which meant I didn't have it lined up properly. So it feels pretty good for some reason. The other one, yeah, I think I did it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut my hand here just so it doesn't go flying. And this is what made it come off last time when I tested it. Now I can tell you already this one's on properly, just that easy. See, I can see it. I can see the thing, and it's not going to come off. So that's it, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to remove my tape. I'm afraid to remove this piece. And I did not mark. So in this case, it was very good that I used tape. I am a good boy. Wait, good boy, Mike. And I can give myself a nice star and tell everybody that I'm a hero. Until they see the marred up rod, which if they see that, they're looking too close. Okay, so now I'm going to test this thing. I'm going to see if it locks into place. It does lock into place. Let's see if I can back this out. So there it is. That's the ejection port cover. And let me show you how it works. Bam! And you see? Come on, man. I can't get this thing to line up. There you go. Stop. So what do you guys think? I mean, is it cool? Does it look awesome? Okay. What's that? You want to see it again? Okay. I aim to please. There it is on the outside, and that's what it looks like when it's activated. And I think I'm pretty much the hero. So if you agree, leave me a comment. Tell me thank you. Tell me I'm a good person. You know, the kinds of ego-feeding things that we all need, or we wouldn't be making YouTube videos. Oh yeah, I said that. Thanks for watching. Be safe.